Jai Hind everyone. India After Gandhi, The History of World's Largest Democracy is a non-fiction book by Indian historian Ramachandra Guha, born 1958, first published by HarperCollins in August 2007. Indian historian, writer, and public intellectual whose research interests include social, political, contemporary, environmental, and cricket history in the field of economics. He is also a columnist for the Telegraph, Hindustan Times, and Hindi daily newspaper Amar Ujala. A magisterial account of the pains, the struggles, the humiliations, and the glories of the world's largest and least likely democracy, Ramachandra Guha's Indian After Gandhi is a breathtaking chronicle of the brutal conflicts that have rocked a giant nation and the extraordinary factors that have held it together. The pains, struggles, humiliation, and glories of the world's largest and least likely democracy and the extraordinary factors holding it together are given a detailed treatment in this book. People with larger than life characters. Notwithstanding the prominence attributed to Nehru-Gandhi dynasty in the narrative, Guha did not neglect the other historical actors, briefly, who also set India on course for a democracy that functions despite imperfections and corruptions. Guha offers a panoramic view of the fight of a young nation against the veritable elements threatening secularism, its dangerous but nevertheless great gamble with democracy and the rise of populism, selflessness and foresight of some pettiness and fanatism of some others, revolts for succession, linguistic processions, theocratic, socialist movements, poverty and hunger, rights of minorities, even the cinema and cricket, all find their description in this volume. Task that Ramachandra Guha set for himself in his India After Gandhi is the story of the building of a rather improbable nation from a fragmented political landscape, and such is primarily a narrative. India After Gandhi is a political narrative of India's 6 decades of independence, with emphasis on how the country continued to remain a territorially intact and constitutional state, notwithstanding with pessimism of many after the British left in 1947. Kashmir issue, fall of Congress, rise of BJP, and all other regional parties were detailed. It gives an account of almost all watershed events, from integration of princely states to linguistic issues, from wars with China to liberation of Bangladesh, from Nehru's non-alignment to Indira's emergency, from Kashmir trouble to Assam and Naga insurgency, and also the emergence of Naxalism, from Khalistan to river disputes, from Kashmir disputes to light trouble, from refugee issues to Operation Blue Star. The new Indian state faced the dual challenges of integrating its remaining Muslim population and appeasing its Hindu majority. As an indication of what is bound to happen, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the leader of Muslim League, said in a 1940 speech 7 years before he founded Pakistan, "The Hindus and Muslims belong to two different religious philosophies, social customs and literature. They neither intermarry nor interdine together, and indeed they belong to two different civilizations." The book also talks about RSS Hindu Mahasabha. Nehru's daughter Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister in 1966, less than 2 years after his death. The resolve she displayed in supporting East Pakistan's fight for independence led both to an enormous increase in her popularity and to the creation of Bangladesh, which earned her American President Nixon's wrath. In 1975, she declared a state of emergency, restricting civil liabilities and abolishing judicial independence. Illegal arrest and forced sterilizations in the name of population control were overseen by her son Sanjay. Congress held sway for almost 4 decades. Soon after coalition governments came into existence, which Guha contends is a manifestation of the widening and deepening of democracy, as different regions and groups acquired a greater stake in the system. A result of the decline of the Congress party was the rise of Bharatiya Janata Party. In short, he says that a united India's survivor against all odds is linked to its constitution being mostly kept intact, election being held regularly, keeping faith in its secularism, linguistic freedom without imposing one dominant language on the population, a reasonably efficient civil service, and a political army, and last but not the least, Hindi films keeping its place in the culture. Born against a background of privation and civil war, divided along lines of caste, class, language, and religion, independent India emerged, somehow as a united and democratic country. Ramachandra Guha's usually acclaimed book tells the full story, the pain, the struggles, and the humiliations of the world's largest and least likely democracy. Massively researched and elegantly written, India after Gandhi is a remarkable account of India's rebirth and a work already hailed as a masterpiece of single volume history. Thank you and Jai Hind.